this morning now for the 28th Circuit Court here in Westwood County, and we begin today's docket call by taking up the case of People of the State of Michigan versus Devin Jean Plum. This is file number 25-14153. FH. Appearances, please.
Lisa Dahl for the people.
I'm Jeff Harris. I'm on behalf of Devin Jean Plum. She's joined me at the table and is here in person.
Thank you. Also present before the court this morning is Mr. Brian Potter, who is the probation officer, who has prepared today's pre-sentence investigation report. We're here today for a sentencing on a case that we resolved with a plea back on January 23rd of this year. The first thing we're going to need to know is obviously we're going to change the sentence date on CFJ 145 page 1, and that's throughout wherever else is required. See if I had any other corrections. Make sure we've got the information correct in CFJ 284 regarding treatment history. That would be on page 15. So we know that there was that program that she's been in. When did she enter that, Mr. Harrison?
It was February 17th. It was
yeah.
just before her birthday. I remember that.
Yeah, I remember her 17th. All right, so, and that was where, Ms. Plum?
Sunrise. Alpena.
There is a paragraph there, yeah.
Oh,
Okay, well, yeah, and I see that at the bottom.
yeah, that's right.
But I want to know, did she complete the inpatient portion?
She did.
So we wanted, that's why.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
All right, good enough. And what's the status with a sober living facility, Mr. Harrison?
At
Or
this,
Ms. Plum?
at this juncture, she's done what I would say was the next best thing. Sober living is not going to be available to her until at least May 1st. It had something to do with her NMRE status. In light of that, she's gotten a housing voucher
Yeah, I remember.
and a job, and is enrolled in an outpatient program through the Sunrise Center and Treatment Center where Gaylord.
No, it's Bear River and it's intensive outpatient.
Yeah.
Yeah, and well, I'm enrolled in Gaylord in Bear River.
I got it, thank you. So
Sorry.
if there's, then it is, we don't need to, just note that she's doing the outpatient therapy through Bear River.
Do we have a completion date of Sunrise, Your Honor?
Yeah, it is the 27th of March.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. All right, have there been, are you on any other medications as a result of that? Like a Vivitrol or some kind of other?
I'm on the Sublocade shot. I did send information to community corrections. I'm also on Prozac, which I wanted to make that a point because it does make me drop for benzos.
All right, so hold on. So we see on CFJ 284, page 15 again, underneath that public health drug abuse, it already has an MAT Subutex. Is that the same thing though?
It's the Sublocade's the shot, the Subutec is the pill.
The pill, all right,
But I didn't want the like temptation of
I got you.
confusing.
So that's why I'm mentioning that the Sublocade, we probably want to put that on there as well. Now, you also mentioned that the Prozac?
Mhm.
Okay, and that, oh, that's already on there. All right, thank you very much. Okay, so I don't have any further corrections. Let's turn it over to the prosecutor, Ms. Dahl. Do you have any corrections, objections, so forth?
I believe there should be an addition for employment as to the case
Oh,
that she started.
Yep, sorry, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Where's this? I know you told me last week, but I don't recall.
KFC.
It's KFC and Gaylord.
Okay,
It's a full-time employment too.
what's that?
Start date, Your Honor?
It's about 3 weeks ago. I'm not sure the exact date. I could look on my phone.
April 1.
Yeah, I'd say.
That's fine. Okay,
Thank you.
yep. All right.
No other corrections or deletions on.
Mr. Harrison.
I don't have any changes. I did note the 3 or 4 that were brought up by other folks, but I don't have anything beyond that. In all honesty, I had forgotten about updating the employment, so I'm glad Mrs. Bell pointed that out.
All right. By the way, my brain is full of stupid information. Dave Thomas, who started Kentucky Fried Chicken, actually didn't start it, became famous for it. He used to work for Wendy's. And then when he was working, he met the colonel and said, "You got too many items on your menu," and he went to go work for him, trim the menu down. That's why Dave Thomas is really famous. Anyways, there you go. And by the way, he wasn't really a colonel, he was a Kentucky colonel, which has nothing to do with the military. All right, let's just keep going. There you go. That, by the way, is free. Don't have
Okay.
that. I'm not gonna pay for it. Mr. Harrison, allocution.
Well, Your Honor, it's no secret that I'm exceptionally proud of Devin. And that's the only, I thought about a way to say that sounded a little less avuncular, but
What?
avuncular in the manner of being someone's uncle or older relative.
Yeah, did you look that one up over the weekend and then
No.
think, how can I work that in?
No,
By the way, you kind of look a little bit like
Colonel
Colonel
Finn.
today. You got the hair.
Yeah.
he was tiny though.
Yeah, you
I've got
They
no,
had one of his suits on display in a museum in Kentucky,
Uh-huh.
and the man was literally this big.
But anyways, just keep going.
No, I don't know what else to say that hasn't already been presented to the court in some fashion. We have a young woman who had a serious issue with her involvement with controlled substances. There were some lifestyle factors and some psychological stuff going on there that, to no one's surprise, she had a difficult time disengaging herself from that. I hesitate to reuse the word, but I'll say it again, that lifestyle. And lo and behold, the current situation that we're here to talk about today is part and parcel of why it was almost impossible for her to break that cycle on her own.
Hold on. So it's working up there, but my computer isn't working. Oh, just
You're
working
still
the
on there,
screen.
yeah.
All right, it says reboot required for system updates. Disregard, I'll hit that and say, remind me later. All right, keep going, Mr. Harrison.
Yeah.
You got it. I've got it. We're paying attention.
If you had a sort of vision about what you would like a person in her situation to do, I think if you made a checklist, here's what I would want her to do in a perfect world. She's ticked off nearly all of the boxes. And the one box she hasn't been able to tick off is sober living, but she's done what she can to ensure that that will be something she will partake in just a couple of weeks, if everything goes according to plan. Now, normally, I guess on the case where the client is 2 to 17 and the recommendation is for time served, I would say a lot less than normal. I was gonna say I would probably say nothing, but I don't believe that's ever been the case. But in this case, I think it behooves us to, quite frankly, keep the pressure on Devin. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's going to be the thing that pushes her over the edge, but I think it's something that she will always take away in the back of her mind, how grateful she is to even have this opportunity. It's pretty telling to me that she's had a couple of opportunities here to jerk certain responsibilities or to, frankly, not throw her dice in and fully cooperate. And I'm very encouraged by the fact that she has been able to make the right decision and do the right thing, not to panic when sober living wasn't immediately available. She doubled down, went back to them and said, I've got to have something more than a promise of sober living in a few weeks. And that's what she's doing right now. She has the letters of completion and all of the glowing remarks from people that, quite frankly, the drug counselors, unless they're very, very, very good at their job and did an in-depth job, they may not even appreciate the depth of her situation when she was presented to them. She has all of the markings of being a success story, an example for this community and for people similarly situated. And she's young enough to pull it off. And she has an excellent story to tell. And I hope someday she gets the opportunity to tell it in a way that can help other people. Because if anyone would have had the opportunity to walk down that tunnel and not see the light at the end of it, it would have been her. To her credit, she has been able to focus on eyes on the prize and has, oddly enough, impressed me with her ability to do that. Her familiarity with her own situation, her self-awareness that was something that was lacking in the past. So I'm glad to see that that has developed. I can't say enough good things, but I guess having said so, I will conclude my remarks unless I beat the dead horse any further. I agree with the recommendation, time served. I agree. The only reason I would want her on a period of probation is so that there's some structure and there's somebody looking over her shoulder. And I think it's important to give her the opportunity to prove to herself that she can do it, not just us. She's on her way. She's well on her way. I'd like to keep her on that track. Thank you.
So, Ms. Dahl, although Mr. Harrison talked about not kicking the dead horse, he had a couple more in there, but that's okay. Ms. Dahl?
Your Honor, looking at Ms. Holmes' prior history, it is odd to recommend.
Hold on. We're gonna take a brief pause right there on the record there. Nancy, hold on. We have lost our wait for program. Nope, we're gonna close it. We are in recess in place there, Nancy. Am I ready?
Yep.
All right, thank you very much. All right, so there's a horse currently, we're back on the record for People versus Plum. There's a horse currently on the floor of the court here, figuratively bleeding, but Ms. Dahl, it's your turn.
Thank you, Your Honor. Her past is kind of concerning. She has 8 felonies, 10 misdemeanors. She has been to prison. She has violated probation multiple times.
She's got 120 PRB points, which is 45 over the max. Yeah, I got you.
So she has a very rough past, and her likelihood of successfully completing probation based on her past conduct is low, but she seems to be working hard so far. So I believe the recommendation is appropriate based on the guidelines. I believe 3 years probation is appropriate because of her past and where she's at right now. And I think it'll help hopefully motivate her and keep her going on the path that she's going. So I'd ask the court to follow the recommendation in this case.
Ms. Plum, you have the right to make a statement before the court issues a sentence. Is there anything you wish to say?
Yes, Your Honor, I just wanted to tell you, thank you for this opportunity. It's been very great, and I can only thank you and God for that. It's a very emotional thing for me because you obviously know of most, my past and my family, so, I'm not gonna, like, I don't have a ton of words, but I just I really thank you for this opportunity because I would have never got it anywhere else or at any other time, so.
So we're gonna go over a few things. Bear with me. Gotta be able to cover or justify the sentence. I'm gonna highlight a few things. I remember, and we're not gonna go into the factual debate of whether or not it's correct, but there was some assumptions or some statement somewhere in the process of this case that there was a recorded statement where you may have agreed to help those guys from Muskegon. Well, we kind of have an idea what that might mean. And I would say, listen, I really want to see you get away from that track. A delivery, for instance, or assisting in the delivery and stuff like that, Class B felony, and even at the lowest level of the guidelines would be 72 to 240 months.
Okay.
Right? That's 8 years of prison. And so that's, I don't say that, but I'm just saying I'm going to assume, based upon the preponderance of the evidence, you were at that point where your life was going to go, whoop, and that's where you were going to go. I don't know. I would hope that you wouldn't, but that's just one thing. I'd hate to see that from a young person. If it were just a possession, which is how the case started, you would have scored 10 to 46 if there was the habitual offender enhancement or even the second or subsequent enhancement. That would have gotten a prison term. Sometimes prison is a positive, sometimes it's negative. I don't know, but I was afraid it would start that cycle of the revolving door for you. Yes, whenever I call a case, if I know the person's middle name, normally it's kind of it's a sign that I see the person too often. It's really easy or tempting, that's probably the better word, tempting, if not just natural, to start to pass judgment negatively, right? I've been over there, I've been over there, and now I'm up here. And sometimes it's when you pass judgment because you've seen a person's past behavior, you can almost place money on it and it'd be a pretty fair bet. But then sometimes, and I liken this back to my son used to really love, my oldest son, Thomas the Tank Engine. And it's like the trains. Sometimes you just want to, I'm going to put the train on the track and retrack it and maybe relay out a different track and hope that the train stays on a different track. And I'm hoping that this is the time where instead of just rolling the train away, we've decided to put you on a different track and hopefully that helps you. I really, really hope it does. I've got high hopes that it does for you. Again, I'm not going to make anybody cry, but I know obviously what this substance has done in your family with your mother and your dad and so forth. And I'm just hoping that this is the time that you save your life and put it on the right path. You are still quite a young person. Oh my gosh, 33. That's young. All right. So I don't know, can't say it on the out loud here what your date of birth is, but I'm just going to tell you, I have my 33rd wedding anniversary next month. So I've been married longer than almost as long as you've been alive. All right, so now I got to cover the sentence to establish the reasonable proportionalness of the sentence.
And Your Honor, I do want to let you know that I deleted my Facebook and all of my contacts in my phone.
Good. I'm going to tell you that there is a day coming soon, very, very soon, depends how tomorrow at 4 o'clock goes. I will get off of all of it as well. But anyways, yeah, or it will be greatly reduced down to my family, just my kids, my wife, my parents and stuff like that. But anyways, good thing for you. You know, there's a great deal of information here on CFJ 284, page 3, that talks about the amount of substances, 90.5 grams here and there, just horrendous stuff. I know maybe it wasn't all tied to you, but it just talks about the scene in which you were placing yourself. Your criminal history began in 2010, and right away you started having the probation violations. I started off with the retail fraud probation violations. You made it about 6 months before you picked up an operator while intoxicated, and there again, bench warrants, probation violations. You had a bond violation for 3 of 20, because that one occurred while you were on bond for the previous one, and yet once again, it involved MIPs and alcohol. You had probation violations again, 2011, that offense occurred on probation, more probation violations. 2011, there's another set of charges that came out. So we see a lot of probation violations, bond violations, repeat offenses, controlled substances, alcohol, things like that. Well, I'm not going to go through it because I don't want to be negative, but I'll just say, if by gosh, if there ever were an appeal on this case, any appellate judge or appellate attorney should just go and say, I've adopted all the factors incorporated herein that are inside this report. There's a lot of reasons this Plum even to send you to jail or even give you prison now. But I remain very hopeful. There's just something about it that I feel, I don't know. So I'm hoping it does. I really do. So, and thankfully you've been doing some of the right stuff. And he didn't come back, because I remember there was something you mentioned last time. You didn't want to go back to your dad's house. Oh my gosh. Great choice. So anyways, the court's speaking positively, hoping the best for Miss Plum, places her on a period of probation for 36 months. I find that the terms and conditions listed on CFJ 145, page 2 and 3 are well suited for rehabilitative purposes. Specifically, any treatment programming, inpatient, outpatient treatment, making sure she's compliant with all of that, whatever she's, the medical assisted portion. Who's providing that medical assisted portion? Is that out of the Bear River Sunrise or?
Bear River.
All right.
Well, I got my first one in Sunrise,
Okay.
and then since I've recommunicated with the society, I do it at Bear River because that's the place in
The point,
Gaylord.
all right, so the point isn't just Mr. Potter needs to know, because he needs to say, keep doing whatever that provider is telling you to do. And I can't wait and look forward to seeing Miss Plum come back to court for me to dismiss, let her off of probation early, if she's able to do so. You have the right to be considered for early discharge or probation at halftime, so that's in about 18 months. All right. The court sentences the defendant to 120 days, 120 days of credit, $68 state minimum fee, $130 crime victims rate fund fee, $300 court cost, and the processing on this case, $300 attorney fee, because well, Mr. Harrison mostly earned his keep. $500 fine. Supervision fees of $30 a month or $60 a month if there's any electronic monitoring. All right, have I missed anything, Mr. Potter?
Yeah, and I'm just questioning myself, not the court.
Okay.
The 36 months on a high court misdemeanor, that is a lot, correct?
Yeah, I think yes, because it's bumped up to a felony, isn't it?
I'm just.
I think so. I believe it as a high court misdemeanor. Yes. I can't go to the 60, but I can do the 36.
Okay, I just
my understanding
like that
as well.
question myself. Your Honor.
I got you. If you find them wrong, don't come and tell me, because I don't want to feel bad about myself later on. No, I'm just kidding. That's all right, but if you found it wrong, let me know. All right, Ms. Plum, I need to tell you that all fines and costs are due within 56 days, or a 20% penalty will automatically be added to it. This court, however, will dismiss that 20% penalty as long as you pay by the end of your probation. So if you decide, hey, I really want to get out from underneath Judge Elmore's thumb, after 18 months, you're going to want to pay it off before then. I'm really very hopeful, Ms. Plum. Seen you in here before. I've seen you when you've been under the influence a little bit. I'm telling you, the person that I see here today isn't the person that I've seen in the past, and I'm really, really very, very happy to see that. You look good, you look healthy. I mean, you know, so don't seem to have that look that I see on other people who come through who are using. So God bless you. Hope you continue to move well forward. All right. So Mr. Harrison is going to bring you 2 copies of one document. You're going to place your initials on one. Doing so neither elects nor waives any rights. It merely acknowledges your receipt of your copy of that document. And this document tells you that you have the right to appeal the conviction and sentence in your case. And while that is typically done by filing a claim of right to appeal if you were convicted at a trial, based upon a plea, any appeal is done by filing an application for leave to appeal. Now, if you choose to file an application for leave to appeal and you want the court to appoint an attorney to assist you, you may complete the bottom half of the document and return to the court within 42 days. If you choose not to appeal, you may simply dispose of your copy of that document. I should have said, Madam Clerk, that the court exercises its discretion under the second or subsequent enhancement to sentence or as such. All right, Ms. Plum, on the CFJ 145 of this document, there are some end dates for the substances. October 22nd, 2025. That needs to be one of the most important days because that is the new birth date that you have. That changes your person. All right, best of luck. Any questions?
No, but I wanted you to know I have 6 months on the Friday we just had.
I'm glad. See you all next time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am. Our next file this morning is People of the State of Michigan versus Marcus O'Rourke. This is case number 25-14176 FH.